So yeah, morning everyone. It's Christian here from Hyde Park Solutions. Thank you very much for joining our final session on OPC. So today we're going to be focusing on lean scheduling in a little more detail. So yeah, we just got a couple of housekeeping items to go through. So please do just make sure that, again, that your microphone's muted, your cameras are off. Questions, please just ask these in the chat box as we go along. If we do have some time at the end, we'll go through these, but if not, we'll send out some answers via email. And yeah, please do let us know how you found these sessions. It'd be great to have some of your feedback, just so we can continue improving for next time. And yeah, you probably know him pretty well by now, but yeah, your presenter today is Nitin Tiwari. So yeah, Nitin's accredited in all Primavera, P6, Unifier, Cloud and Aconex. So one of our Primavera experts in-house. So yeah, I'll hand over to Nitin to take you through OPC in a little more detail, focusing on lean scheduling.
So welcome everyone today in this lean scheduling session. So the topic for today is lean scheduling. It's also known as task management in Primavera Cloud. So a quick overview. I'm sure all of you are well aware of CPM, what is critical path method. And we all know to some extent it's not meant or it's not built to handle work issues at the job site. And here is where lean scheduling methodology complements CPM. So the high-level processes that on-site resources, they meet regularly and plan these sessions on how to execute tasks, right? So they break down activities into smaller tasks to complete the project work. And what Primavera Cloud, is doing here is it is bringing the planning board, which you can use in your office or in a meeting room or, to the digital world. So Primavera Cloud provides a platform called Workplan, and it is nothing but a planning board where you can specify different contractors, you can color code them, and then you can monitor the tasks, you can see the commitments to the task, you can see the due dates, so a lot of things which we will talk about. And then there is a mobile app called Primavera Projects, which can be again used for collaboration. So we will not go too much detail into the mobile app. It's available on the Play Store, on the Android and the iOS store for free. You can download it. And if you have a working instance of Primavera Cloud, maybe you can connect it and then explore the app to see what features and functionality it offers. So that was, a brief overview of lean scheduling. And these are our objectives. So these objectives are the things that I'll show you in the application. So we will see how you can add tasks. Adding tasks is more like breaking a particular activity into tasks, and then how you can schedule tasks. How do you specify handoffs? So, and then manage commitments, execute bulk actions, and then finally monitor the performance. So let's get started with schedule task. So it says break down CPM activities into smaller component tasks for more efficient scheduling, and then use the work plan page to create and schedule new tasks. So let's switch to the application and let me show you the sample data which I have prepared for today's demonstration. Okay, so first thing, we are inside a project, and today we will use high-rise construction. Quickly, I'll go to activities page. So So here you can see activities listed. So this is under the schedule app. Another thing to note is we will be working with multiple companies or subcontractors. So if you want to add them on your project, let me quickly show you from where you can add them. So there is another app called Project Team, and under this app, you will see companies. So you can see here, let's say on this project, you are working with these companies or subcontractors or contractors. So here is where you can add them, provided they are already created under the global admin. So you can bring them here, you can add them, you can color code them. So these colors will represent these companies on the work plan page, which we will see in a second. So here is where you define your companies and you can color code, you can choose a color to represent a company. Okay, so next we will go to this app, which is Task. So as I said, in Primavera Cloud, you can call it task management, which is nothing but lean scheduling. So the first app that we will see under this is work plan. Okay, so there are a lot of options available here. So as I mentioned earlier, this is nothing but a digitalized planning board. So here you will see that you can see the activities. If you have added tasks to a particular activity, you can see these tasks. So you can break down a particular activity into tasks. These tasks are not scheduled yet because you have not placed them on the planning board. So once you place them on the planning board, they will disappear from here. So this is one of the views where you see activity and the task. And if you're interested only in the task, there is another view called tasks only. This will only show you the list of tasks. And this particular section is also called activity task hopper. And this section in the middle is the planning board. And here on the right hand side, you have another section, which is broken down into weeks. So if you feel like moving a particular task into a different week, you can move it to that weekly bucket, right? Based on when that task should start, or if the task is already delayed and you want to start that again in the upcoming week, you can move it to a particular weekly bucket. And it's very simple to do that. You just have to drag and drop. It says, you can see here, and while I'm holding it, it says drop task here. And if you don't want to drop it here, you can move it back. So apart from that, let's go back to the activity task view. So here we can see the activities and the task. So here you can see, for example, civil drawings preparation. So if I just click on this particular activity, it gives me information like when it is starting, when it's supposed to finish, and what's the planned duration, remaining duration, right? Actual percentage complete. So you can see, and it also shows that there are total 4 tasks, unplanned task 0, planned task 2, not completed, 2 completed. So it will give you all the information. Now, and another thing to note here is, you can see here, it shows 6 weeks. So right now, if I scroll to the right, it will show me information for 6. It gives me information for 6 weeks. Now, if you want to zoom in to a particular week, right, you can just choose. It's up to you to choose. You can choose show 1 week, right? So it gives you a little more visual appealing information. You can focus on that particular information, right? So these are the options on the work plan page. And let me quickly show you how you can schedule the task. So let's say that concrete foundation, it has three different tasks. So let's double click on this task. So when you double click on a task, it will give you only limited information which is required to update the task. But if you need more information, if you want to add more information, you can click on this icon, task details, and that will allow you to add more information. So let's go step by step. So for example, if I double click on this, so sorry. So currently the duration is 1 day. We don't have a due date. We know the name of the company. If you want to add another company, so from the list of predefined companies, you can choose the company or the contractor or the subcontractor which is supposed to work on this task. And you have the task name, right? So now let's close this and click on this concrete foundation. So it says that concrete foundation plan duration is 25 days. And if we have broken down this particular activity, and it also says starts on 13 December, the week 13 December. So if we have to break down the task, let's say that foundation work, let's double click on it. Let's say foundation work will take 10 days. And I'll close this. Let's say curing will take next 10 days. Close this. And inspection, let's keep maybe 2, 3, or for now I'll just keep 5 days. So we know the name of the company, we know the duration, right? And now let's see how we can schedule this. So the name of the activity is concrete foundation, right? So let's go to concrete foundation. So you can see here, it is concrete foundation, week of December 12th. On 12th, it's a Sunday. So now to drag and drop it, you just have to take it, and in the background, you will notice where you see, yeah, you can see that I'm starting from Monday, and the moment I leave it, so it has occupied 10 working days based on the calendar on the work plan page. Similarly, you can drag and drop curing after, yeah, you can drag and drop. So you will see here, you will notice it's like this, but if I want to start curing after the first activity, first task is complete, I can drag it like this. Yeah. And then you can further move it like this. So this is how you can move activity. And if I want to drag and drop the last activity, I can again drag and drop it like this. So once you drag and drop the task, sorry, I keep saying activity, but once you drag and drop the task, so you have scheduled the task. Now the next step is to specify handoff. So what is handoff? Let me just go back to my presentation quickly. So you can see here, there's just a few things to remember. Some tasks cannot begin until prerequisite work is in one or more other task is completed. And such dependencies are called handoffs. So it's more or less kind of a relationship that you are assigning to these tasks, just like activities, right? And that's what we will see now. Let me go back. So there is another option here called handoffs. So let me click on handoffs. So there is some sample data which is already here. And before we see how you can link, so we have to link foundation work, curing, and inspection. So before we do that, I'll just show you a few other layouts on this page. And right now it's organized by none. You can organize it by activity. So it will show you the name of the activity. For example, civil drawing preparation, excavation, electrical drawing preparation. And you can also organize it by company. So when you organize it by company, you can see the name of companies and you can see the relationship, the handoffs. So right now let's go to none, and let's say foundation work will start first, followed by curing. Okay. So you can see the error message, invalid finish to start, successor task starts before or on the same. So this is because the way I have dragged and dropped the activity, the task on the work plan page is not correct. So let's quickly go to the work plan page. Okay, so I'll just make some space here. So I'll move this. Okay, so we have, this is the first activity, foundation work, followed by the second, which is curing. And then if I scroll further to the right, I'll move this here. Okay, so now we know that the plan duration is 25 days and we have 3 tasks which are aligned here on the work plan page. And then we can go back to the handoffs. So what I'm doing here from the handoffs page can also be done from the work plan page. And here I'll organize it by activity. And let's say I try to, you can see. So, and if I just click on this line, it says predecessor is foundation work, successor is curing. Then you have finish to start, that is default, and then you have lag and slack. So I mean, here is the amount of time a task can be delayed before it affects the start or finish of its immediate successor. And lag here is a relationship. I mean, there are certain tasks in a handoff relationship which require a period of no work between the predecessor and successor. So you have to just leave them idle. Okay, maybe a good example is curing. You just have to leave it and ensure that it's cured correctly, and that is called lag. So the difference here between lag and slack is, unlike slack, lag here cannot be consumed in a handoff. So if you have 2 days of lag, it's not that you can push the predecessor forward. So that 2 days is to ensure that that no work period is given to that, but before you start the next activity, that much time is given to the successor activity. So that is what is lag and slack, and then we will connect these two. So we have foundation work, curing, and inspection, and this is how you can add handoff from the handoffs page. Or if I go back to the work plan page, and if I double click on this, click on this task detail, you will notice that on this, there is an option called handoff. And since I have added handoff from a different place, it still reflects here, or you can directly add it here. It's just like assigning relationships. Another thing to notice here, there are only 3 types: finish to start, and finish to start. So that's how you define handoffs. The next is to manage commitments. Okay, so the subcontractor or the contracting company, right, once you define the due date, they have to commit. They have to provide commitment that they will finish that particular task on that day. And in case they miss that commitment, they have to provide a valid reason and then recommit a new date. So let's see how they can do that. So let me show you an example. Okay, it's the other side. Okay, so let's talk about these icons which you see here. If I just make them a little big on the screen. So if you see here, if I click on it, you can see there is a small icon which says handoffs. So if I double click on this activity and then go to this option, so yeah, you can see commitments here. So right now, let's say that the due date is 19th November. And for some reason, the subcontractor feels that they will not be able to complete it on 19th November. Then they can choose a valid reason by clicking on this. So this is 60%. This is related to a drawing. So, I mean, you can choose the most relevant reason. You can add them here in your list before you add it. So let's say, for example, I'll just select crew is not available, or let's say time estimation error, which is more meaningful in case of the drawing. And then say select. And then what you can do is, let me just minimize the screen a bit. Yeah. So then what you can do is you can choose another date, let's say 22nd, and you can say recommit. And if I scroll down, the best part is you can see the due date was 22nd November. And then a reason for missing the due date is here. And then it was recommitted again. So whatever is the history, so everything is recorded, right? So this is how you can make commitment and recommit in case you cannot meet the commitment on time. And another thing to note here is constraints. So you can define constraints. Under constraints, I will show you that page. But here, you can define constraints, and for example, permits. Let's say that this particular task is getting delayed because of permits, or maybe this is a drawing. So let me select RFI. There is some question. Yeah, there are some questions on the drawing. So this is how you can add constraints. But the thing to note is whenever you add a constraint to a task, you have to ensure that before you assign a due date, you should resolve the constraint. Okay, so that's how you add the constraint. And once you have done that, you can click on save. And based on the date, you can see it moved further to the right. So this is how you can manage commitments. Then there was another option to execute bulk actions. So right now what we have seen is how you can manage it on a work plan page or on a handoff. But if you are more comfortable working with the list, then we go to task list. You can see the same set of tasks for the activities. You can define your own view. And let's say that if you are in a project which has similar kind of tasks, then you can select multiple tasks. If there are other activities which these tasks can be used for, you can just right click, and there are many options available, right? You can say this is to add more lines, delete, cut, copy, paste. You can use fill down, you can assign activity, you can complete. If you want to mark a task as complete, you can bulk complete them. If you want to remove handoffs, if you want to remove relationships, you can do that here. So you can perform these kind of bulk activities from the task list. So another thing to note is, let me quickly show you how to complete a task. So for that, so you can see here, if you want to do it from here, all you have to do is, so let's say that these two tasks are pending. You just, okay, I have selected everything. So yeah, let's say, for example, you can just, so it says you cannot complete the task. So because there are handoffs and other things, but if you want to complete a task, let me show you another example. Let's say this task, okay, which is get update from contractors. So you can just click on it and you can see it's completed. Another thing about this page is you can also add private tasks. So private task is something which on which you want to, which is your personal task. So such tasks, if you mark them as private, will not be visible to others, and it will also not be visible on the work plan page, right? So public task, all the public tasks will be visible on the work plan page and other pages. And to complete these tasks, as I said, you can also do it from the work plan page. If I go back to the work plan page, so for example, if so we just added more information for, yeah, concrete foundation. So let's say that this particular task, if it is complete, you can just click on this. So you can see here that task is complete. And if I go back to the task list page under concrete foundations, so concrete foundations, you can see here foundation work is complete. So this is how you can complete the task. Okay, the next is to monitor performance. So there is a page where you can monitor performance in terms of planned percent complete. So let me show you that particular page. Here under task, you have something called analysis. Okay, and you have options. You can choose different time frames. Right now I have selected custom based on my project duration. You can also choose this week, 6-week window. It's up to you to choose. There are quick filters available, right? You can also you can also just select a particular or a group of companies around which you want to check information. So here, what you see here is planned project, planned percent complete, right? If you hover over it, it gives you more information. 2 committed, 1 completed, PPC is 50%. So, and the legend is here, completed and committed. If I scroll down further, here you can see company-wise planned percent complete. So if you see in terms of Hyde Park, right? So 2 committed, 0 complete. Here, if you see 3 committed, 0 complete, PPC is 0. And here, if you see in case of this company, here 2 committed, 1 completed. So this is how you can evaluate how companies are performing on different tasks. And then it will also segregate reasons for missed commitments. So if you remember, every time a task is recommitted, you have to select a valid reason. So you can see which particular reason contributes towards incompletion of the task. Similarly, there are other things which you can analyze on. So here you have company plan percent complete over time. So on a time period, how the companies are performing. You have the list of companies that you have invited, and the bubbles are small right now. If you find it difficult to see, you can see it in full size and maybe just zoom in a bit. And then you also have reasons for missed commitment over time. So again, the same information analyzed in a different way. So these are the options under task management. You use the work plan, which is the digital planning board. Then you have handoffs where you can define relationship and dependencies, predecessors and successors. And then you have task list where you can perform bulk action, constraints where you can add constraints, resolve the constraints before you define a due date. And then you can analyze the performance of tasks and companies on the analysis page. So that's about monitoring performance. And then this is just, I've just added a screenshot so that just to give you look and feel of how the project's mobile app looks like, but you're welcome to download it from the Play Store or the Apple Store and try to explore it and see the options that are available to you. And that brings us towards the end of today's session. I hope all of you were benefited by the series of sessions that we have put together, and we are willing to put in more sessions in the upcoming months and years. So that's all from my side. And Christian, if you would like to add anything.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Nitin. Thanks again, everyone, for joining today, along with the other sessions in our series. I hope you've enjoyed them. If you are interested further in OPC, please do reach out. It'd be great to discuss what you're looking to achieve with the tool. I'm sure we'll be able to help. And yeah, again, please do email us some feedback on how you found the sessions. Great to hear your thoughts, and we're always keen to try and improve for the future. But yeah, thank you again for joining, and yeah, I hope to hear from you all soon.